I brought my 3-month-old son, Leo, to my husband's home for the holidays. But while my son was asleep, my niece, Lana Wright, and her classmates carried him upstairs and threw him down. My baby died right in front of me. I lost my mind. I scooped him up and tried to rush him to the hospital, but it was already too late. He was gone before we ever made it there. Because my niece was still a minor, she barely faced any consequences. The court ordered her family to pay $800,000 in compensation. But my sister-in-law, Ariel Stone, wailed and screamed, accusing me of trying to drive them to their deaths. I cried until I felt like my heart had been torn apart. All I wanted was justice. But my husband, David Wright, and mother-in-law, Karen Bailey, only scolded me. Lana is just a child too. Are you really going to destroy her life just because your son died? I never got my revenge. In the end, grief and hatred hollowed me out. That winter, I died of a heart attack. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of the holiday gathering. This time, I immediately called my parents and asked them to take my son away. But even then, my niece still threw a baby from upstairs. I had just sent my son away and stepped into my mother-in-law's courtyard when a loud crash exploded beside my ears. Bang! A baby, wrapped tightly in a blanket, slammed onto the stone tiles. I stood frozen, then slowly looked up. On the second floor, my niece shot me a defiant look before turning and running away. My husband and mother-in-law rushed out after hearing the noise. The moment my mother-in-law saw what had happened, she screamed. Her legs nearly gave out beneath her. My husband walked over shakily and glanced at the baby. Nina, he said, his voice trembling. The baby isn't breathing. I didn't even dare to look. I turned and charged straight up to the second floor. My niece had locked herself inside her room. I kicked the door hard. Lana Wright, open the door. Who did you throw down there? There was no answer from inside the room, but I could hear my niece laughing with her classmates. Lana, what if they call the police? My mom won't hit me, right? She won't. It's not like we did it on purpose. Besides, the police don't arrest minors. Their fearless words stabbed into my ears like needles. I started shaking uncontrollably. I threw all my strength into kicking that wooden door. Get out here. Do you even understand what you just did? This is murder. My husband, who had come up a step too late, quickly grabbed me. His eyes were red as he said, Nina, calm down. Don't scare them. I stared at him with hatred in my eyes. He had been exactly like this in my last life too. Our son had died, and he was still worried I might scare his niece. My mother-in-law wiped her tears and said, Lana went a little too far this time, but Nina, don't push it too much. Leo was only 3 months old. He's gone, and that's that. You two can try again and have another baby. I went completely still. It took me a few seconds to realize what she meant. They thought the dead baby was my son, but I had just handed my son over to my parents. So who was the tiny body lying downstairs? My husband came upstairs and wrapped his arms around me. Nina, I swear I'll get justice for Leo, he said. But Lana is still young. She doesn't know any better. Before he could finish, I shoved him away. What do you mean she doesn't know any better? If she's that clueless, why doesn't she jump herself? Then I grabbed a chair and smashed it hard against the door. The wooden door rattled violently, shaking so hard it felt as if the whole house was trembling with it. Lana Wright, get out here. If you don't, I'll break this door down. Why should she get to kill someone and act like nothing happened? Even if the baby who died today wasn't mine, I was still going to get justice for him. When she saw how hard I was smashing the door, my niece shouted from inside, Stop! If you keep hitting it, I'll jump. I was panting from the effort. I turned, rushed into the kitchen, grabbed a chef's knife, and hacked it into the door. The blade sank deep into the wood and wouldn't come loose. Then jump. If you don't, I'll get in there and beat you myself. My niece finally couldn't take the pressure anymore and opened the door. She looked irritated and bored, as if none of this had anything to do with her. Who did you throw down there? She lifted her chin and rocked lazily on her feet, looking completely unconcerned. Your son. Who else? I slapped her across the face. The sharp crack snapped her head to the side.